What reason does God add to the fourth commandment for your obedience? That's what we're going to look at in today's daily devotion. I'm Pastor John Blevins, and I'm thankful that you're here with us for another devotion this Wednesday, July 29th, 2020. Well, let's hear from God as we kick off our devotion, as we turn in His Word in the Bible to Leviticus chapter 23. I'm going to read verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work. It is a Sabbath to the Lord in all your dwelling places. That's one of several of the study passages are down in the description. Again, I hope you'll prayerfully take time to look through those today in your devotion time. Those study passages come together and they give us our theology portion for our devotion today. As we begin turning into Westminster, larger Catechism, we're going to be reading question 120. What are the reasons annexed to the fourth commandment, the more to enforce it? The reasons annexed to the fourth commandment, the more to enforce it, are taken from the equity of it, God allowing us 6 days of 7 for our own affairs and reserving but one for Himself. In these words, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. From God's challenging a special propriety in that day, the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, from the example of God, who in 6 days made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. And from that blessing which God put upon that day, not only in sanctifying it to be a day for His service, but in ordaining it to be a means of blessing to us and our sanctifying it. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Turn also to Westminster shorter Catechism. We're going to read question 62. What are the reasons annexed to the fourth commandment? The reasons annexed to the fourth commandment are God's allowing us 6 days of the week for our own employments, His challenging a special propriety in the seventh, His own example, and His blessing the Sabbath day. So back to our question, what are the reasons? What reason does God give in the fourth commandment greater to imply your greater obedience? What are the reasons He gives that says you need to obey the fourth commandment? Well, there's several, as we saw there in our summary there in our theology portion. Particularly, there's the aspect of the fact that God said, hey, I've given you 6 days to take care of all your business. We talked about this yesterday. One day is the Sabbath day. Those other 6 days, take care of all your business then. You can imagine if you were working several days a week, you had a few days off, yet it was on those several days during work that you constantly went to your manager, your boss, and you said, hey, I need to run out for a little bit, take care of some errands, do this or do that. And do you think your boss would be like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine, no big deal. We'll cover for you. Or might your boss or manager say, you've got a few other days during the week to do those things, and you need to do them then. So one of the reasons God gives is He's saying, look, I'm only calling on you, I'm only commanding you 1 day out of the week. The other 6 days, you're taking care of all these other things. You will trust me enough to set 1 day aside as holy. One Sabbath day a week that I give to you. And we've talked about the day and what it is. There's the aspect that God's given the example. Particularly rooted in the creation ordinance, God labored for 6 days, creating all that is, time, space, earth, the universe, filling it, earth. And then He rested on the 6th day. And He set there in that creation ordinance a pattern for his creatures, for his people to follow, those whom God has created, humans. It's a pattern that we try to follow. It's interesting that there's been those in history that have attempted to purposely upturn that pattern, and it never works. You can read about it. It's very interesting. Probably one of the most recent attempts was after the French Revolution, when an attempt was made to go to a 10-day week, and it was specifically for the destruction of the Christian calendar. It was attempting to get rid of the 6 days you labor, 1 day the Sabbath, 6 days you labor, Sabbath. It was trying to upend the calendar that God gave to us. And there's been others. I think recently I've seen folks who've tried to push for a shorter work week and a shorter weekend, things that just get us off this 7-day movement. But God put that. He established it in creation. And then we see it even as we move into the shifting of the day itself, we're still rooted in the creation week there. And then also, I remind you, God's calling you to obey this command because he is God. He's God. And he can command you to take 1 day of 7, to hallow it, for it to be the Sabbath, to delight in it as you delight in him and worship him as he's commanded, and all these things. So, pray that a little bit of our time together will be a blessing to you and encourage you to love the Lord with all your heart, mind, and soul, to seek the Lord's day, to delight in it and to delight the Lord, to find a Bible-believing church that preaches the Bible, that is established upon the Bible, that we see is governed by the Bible and builds itself off the teaching of the Scriptures and follows all that is in them. We'll have a video, hopefully one day, hopefully Lord willing, we'll have some videos that will explain all of these things. But we're short on time. So until then, may the Lord bless and keep you. Oh Lord, do just that. We ask that you would bless us through your means of grace, particularly on the Lord's Day as we gather for corporate worship. But we ask that you would keep us each and every day, and that you grow our love for you. Amen. It's great to be with you.